Broncos country, we are live. Welcome in to this Denver Broncos Syndicate pregame, live from Empower Field at Mile High for Green Bay Packers versus Denver Broncos Week 7. I am your host, Gage Madrid. Denver Broncos are looking to pick up their very first home win today, guys. Broncos are obviously in deep conversations right now in regards to tanking, trying to get the number 1 overall pick in order to secure USC quarterback Caleb Williams. However, you know that players on the field and coaches are going to want to try to win this game. They are going to put their best foot forward to win this game, especially players. I mean, you can say what you want about what Sean Payton's trying to do and his approach to the Denver Broncos this season, but players do not tank, and I fully anticipate a full effort from the Denver Broncos. And as shocking as this sounds, I actually think the Green Bay Packers are a beatable opponent. We've got Antelope in the house. What's going on, Antelope? Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. We got 7 people in the house so far. Before we officially get too far into it, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream, I would really appreciate it. That's a free and easy way to show your support for the channel, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more members of Broncos country just like you and me. We got Five Nights at Freddy's in the house saying, I don't want Caleb Williams. John Dobbs says, no way, we are tanking. Fight for Freedom in the house says, let's ride, baby. I'm at the game. Where are you? I'm trying to see you with the binoculars. Well, right now I'm just inside the concourses. I'll be probably down in like the 110 section. I'll have to look and see officially where my ticket for today's game is, but I will be down in the lower bowl area, and I'll tweet out where I am if you guys want to come and meet up with me at the game. I found a nice little quiet area here to do this live stream, so figure we'll chill out here for a little while, guys, and then we'll head down to the field. So for the Green Bay Packers, their offense has been kind of sputtering for the last couple of weeks. Jordan Love has been having some issues finding his footing a little bit, especially in that Raiders game on Monday Night Football. So this is one where our defense is going to have to step up, and if they can showcase a similar effort than what they showed in Kansas City, that'll open up the avenue for the Denver Broncos to steal a win here. Because offensively, I really like this matchup. We're going to be going up against a Joe Barry-led defense. The Packers feel the same way about their defensive coordinator, their fans do, as Broncos country feels about Vance Joseph. They feel that Joe Barry is an extraordinarily incompetent defensive coordinator, and the Packers defense has yielded some really disappointing results to this point. So if this is a game where Russell Wilson is going to get back on track, that is this game. So again, the Packers defense has just a lot of talent. They've just got some big schematic issues when it comes to their defensive coordinator, Joe Barry. The Broncos may have less talent on defense, but they're kind of dealing with some of the similar schematic issues. Five Nights at Freddy's says, I don't think Russ is the problem. Garrett Shelton says, clickbait. What's going on, Garrett? Good to see you, my friend. Antelope, the Grossi Perna stream will be legendary. Yes, it will, man. This is the Grossi Perna Bowl. I've gotten to experience how awesome both Grossi Posse and That's Good Sports Nation is, man. I got to go to the fan meetup when Tom Grossi was here for the 30 and 30 over at Breckenridge Brewery in Littleton. That was really fun. Fight for Freedom says, do you think they will target Marvin Mims much? Based on the way Sean Payton was talking, I'd like to hope so. Sean said in his press conference last week that he needs to get Marvin Mims more touches. And this Packers defense is one that can be exploited through deep balls through the air. And obviously that's where Russell Wilson is at his best, and that's where Marvin Mims is at his best as well. Shane says, do you think the Denver Broncos can pull up a win today? I actually am a little bit more optimistic that they will. I honestly am not going to put money on it. Don't get me wrong. I can't put money on this team to win a game, but if the Broncos can't win this game against a on-paper beatable opponent, then they're probably not going to pick up another win this season, if we're being completely honest. Vaughn says, Russ does not fit Sean Payton's offense, bottom line. It won't work with Russ. I say benching so you don't have to pay him 2 years of guaranteed money. That's the only argument that I would have for benching Russell Wilson, but at the same time, man, if you put Jarrett Stidham in there, you are full-blown committing to the tank. And I just don't necessarily know if the Broncos are ready to do that yet, because I watch Jarrett Stidham every single day in training camp. The dude struggles to read the field. He stares down his first read. He's extraordinarily inaccurate, especially on outbreaking routes. The dude can't throw an accurate deep ball to save his life. We saw in the Rams game he connected on a couple of deep balls, but those were against fourth, fifth string defenders who aren't even on NFL practice squads right now. Shane says, will the Denver Broncos make the playoffs? Absolutely not. They will not be making the playoffs this year. It's just like the old Jim Moore saying, playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. I mean, that's kind of where the Denver Broncos are right now. Right now, they are in firm contention for the number 1 overall pick. I know this is a bit of an unpopular take in Broncos country right now, but I still don't think they're going to get that number 1 overall pick. That loss to Chicago, that scoop and score from Jonathan Cooper, really may have hurt the Denver Broncos' chances at getting the number 1 overall pick. But there are still plenty of good quarterbacks out there on the market outside of Caleb Williams. We think about Drake May. Although he did lose yesterday, he had some really strong moments this season and looks like the consensus QB2 on the board. Sean Payton said on The Herd when he was an analyst that a team would tank for Caleb Williams, so I wouldn't put it past the Broncos to tank. Okay, well, let's have that conversation. Yes, Sean Payton may be trying to actively tank. Do you really think the players on the field are? Do you really think Pat Surtain is out there intentionally trying to lose a football game? Do you really think Russell Wilson's out there intentionally trying to lose a football game? Do you really think Justin Simmons, Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte Williams? I can go on, man. At the end of the day, the players are not going to go out there and intentionally make their film look bad so the team can go out there and replace them. Tanking is something that I feel like gets a little bit misconstrued sometimes as to what people actually think tanking is. People think tanking is where teams go out and intentionally lose football games. That's not necessarily what tanking is. Tanking is where the front office slowly but surely goes in and trims the leaves off of the tree until eventually you can see just bare sunlight through it, meaning that they've basically plucked away all of the talent that allows you to win football games. If the Broncos trade away a Justin Simmons, a Garrett Bowles, a Cortland Sutton, somebody of that nature, or multiple players of that nature, that would signal a tank. We got D-Rock in the house. Good to see you, D-Rock. Hope all is well. I can't root for a loss, Gabe says. It's just not in my DNA. Not judging anyone that does, though. For sure. And you know, where I am right now is like, I don't necessarily think the Broncos are going to really lose either way. If they win this game, great. But if they lose this game, that's also good for the Broncos long-term, probably. So I think the Broncos are actually kind of in a win-win scenario right now, even if they lose, if that makes any sense. I think if the money is right, they'll do whatever the boss tells them to do. For sure. Tamor in the house says, yeah, I can't root for a loss either. And I mean, so again, this is where I have to look at it from the professional analyst point of view as opposed to the fans' point of view. Would it be better long-term for the Denver Broncos to lose this game? Yeah, it probably would. But at the same time, could a win potentially change the trajectory of the Denver Broncos season? As crazy as that sounds, yeah, it probably could. I mean, anything is possible, man. Anyone can win on any given Sunday, and on paper, the Packers are a beatable opponent. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm preparing you guys to not be shocked if it does. Do you think Russ will cook today, and how many touchdowns do you think we'll have as well as rushing yards? I think Russ will probably get at least 2 touchdowns today. Again, the Packers defense is got a lot of holes right now. I'm not sure if Jair Alexander is active for this game, their star corner, but I do know that their star linebacker Devondre Campbell is out, and then in schematics as well, guys. I mean, it's just been a really rough go defensively for the Green Bay Packers. And then offense as well, they've struggled to find their footing a little bit with Jordan Love. One thing that's really going to help that is they do get A.J. Dillon back, their star running back for this game. Russell Wilson against the Packers in his history, he's got 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Well, I know 5 of those 8 interceptions actually came in one game. That's a game that Richard Sherman has very famously put on blast for Russell Wilson. I want to say that was at Lambeau in 2016. So yeah, Russell Wilson has struggled on the road against Green Bay, but he's actually had some relative success at home against Green Bay. We think of obviously the NFC Championship game in 2014. the Packers upset, or the Seahawks upset the Packers in Seattle. I believe it was in 2018 or 2019. So Russell historically has played well at home against the Green Bay Packers. That doesn't really mean anything when you look at it just from a pure analyst point of view, though. That's just kind of some cool little statistic there. If you look at it from the analyst point of view, though, this is a game that Russell Wilson on paper could bounce back, again, because of some of the struggles that the Packers have had on defense. Vaughn says the season's shot, there's no promising future, so I would say tank. We may see it that way as fans and analysts, but I know internally the team doesn't see it that way. So I'm operating just from the realist perspective in me that the Broncos are not going to intentionally go out there and lose a football game. Will the front office go out there and slowly but surely rip away the last remaining talent that we have on this team to ensure that the team gets the number 1 overall pick? Absolutely, that could happen. But again, effort-wise, players aren't going to go out there and put out crappy film and then tank their own film and tank their own stock in order to have the guy that's going to potentially replace you get drafted. That's just not what happens in the NFL. We've seen teams that have gone out there and have gutted their rosters, such as the 2019 Miami Dolphins, 2021 Detroit Lions, 2023 Arizona Cardinals, and those teams have gone out there and they've won football games that they had no business winning because, again, players just will always show that level of fight, that level of drive, that hunger to win. They're not going to go out there and intentionally lose a football game. Do you think Justin Simmons will get more interceptions this year? We'll have to see. The question becomes, will he get more interceptions this year as a Denver Bronco? I think playing a quarterback like Jordan Love, there's a chance Justin Simmons could get an interception today. I think that is very possible. D-Rock says his score prediction is 17-14 Denver. I also think it's going to be a very low-scoring affair. I don't think that the Packers offense is going to put up a lot of points in this one, but I also feel like Denver's offense, they have a chance to at least put up 25 or 24 points. That's a fair number I think the Denver could put up. Raiders losing to the Bears, gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. Brian Hoyer starting at quarterback for the Raiders. They are very quickly falling off the cliff fast. So definitely love what we're seeing from the Raiders. And last I saw, Patriots were actually beating the Bills. That was very surprising. So for some in Broncos camp that are for the team losing more football games and getting in position to get the number 1 overall pick, the Patriots winning today is some slight good news there for that crowd because they were in heavy contention to potentially get that number 1 overall pick. Chicago as well. I mean, obviously Chicago is kind of our top competition right now, them and Carolina, and Chicago has Carolina's pick. So the Broncos better be rooting for Carolina wins, Chicago wins, if any of that. Do you think the Broncos trade more players this year? Yes, I do. I think the Denver Broncos are probably going to trade Jerry Jeudy. The writing's on the wall for that one at this point. It really feels like a Jerry Jeudy trade is going to happen in the near future. In fact, I would not be surprised at all if today was Jerry Jeudy's final game as a Denver Bronco. Other names I'd keep an eye on, again, Justin Simmons is a strong one. He could be shipped off to a contender just because of the value that you'd be able to get for him in a trade, especially from a team that feels like they're just that one piece away from being a championship contender. So I could see the Denver Broncos moving on from Justin Simmons, maybe a Garrett Bowles. You could then insert Cam Fleming at left tackle and at least be able to survive out there, get Garrett Bowles' contract off the books. Cortland Sutton's another possibility. Josie Jewell's a possibility, considering that he's in the last year of his deal. Jacob, the trade deadline is Halloween. Antelope, Justin Simmons, a future Eagle. That's the team that I am actually really thinking could be the most interested in Justin Simmons' services, is the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, they're trying to win a Super Bowl this year. I don't think they care so much about future draft assets. So if there's one team out there that could go out and potentially trade more draft capital than necessary for Justin Simmons, it could be the Philadelphia Eagles if they feel like he's that next piece to get them over the hump. Yes, Chicago is winning right now. I mean, definitely like to see the Raiders losing, but at the same time, man, if you are indeed hoping that the Broncos get in position for the number 1 overall pick, then you also like to see Chicago getting that win as well. So yeah, that's kind of where the Denver Broncos, I feel like, are right now. This is a game where you can win this game and it'll at least make you feel better in the short term. And there is a 10% chance it could reignite the team's season, but at this point, just with the lack of talent on this roster, I know that a win today would definitely be very divisive to Broncos country. All right, guys, we're getting towards the 15-minute mark, so we're going to go hit the field here and then probably wrap this thing up. Kickoff for the game is in about 90 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and hit the field right now, guys. Let me know your thoughts and final score predictions for this game. Let me know if you think that it is feasible for the Denver Broncos to get a win today. All right, guys, let's go hit the field. From at home, at a bar, at the stadium, let me know. And if you guys see me out here at the stadium, please don't hesitate to come up and say hi. All right, guys. Oh. All right, we're out. Players getting warmed up. Broncos wearing their orange today. Packers in white. It's a beautiful day for football here in the Mile High City. Truthfully, Jerry Jeudy has not produced. He's too little trail for the league. I believe he's not what he projected. I'd say they'd be lucky to get a 4th-round pick for him. That's probably what they will get, is a 4th-round pick. Ain't hear this song in a while. Yeah, seriously. The throwback to my high school years right there for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and dip out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the pregame show, guys. Be sure to keep it right here. We will be live for a little quick check-in after the game from the stadium. And then when we get back home in the studio, we'll do a proper post-game show and wrap the whole thing up from today. All right, guys, be sure to leave a like on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.